Welcome to TriTech University. My name is Bill Steppen, and today we're going to take a look at AIM's Shippo integration. Shippo is a service that allows you to basically connect any of your major shipping platforms within your AIM system for the ease of purchasing and creating shipping labels. So we're going to take a look at that service and how it can benefit your business and look at all the bells and whistles, well, not all of them, but most of the major ones that you'll be looking at to take advantage of this functionality. But like always, over to the right, we'll take care of some house cleaning. There is going to be a chat tab. Go ahead and click that chat tab, and then down at the bottom is a nickname button. Feel free to click that, type in your name, and then say hi and ask any questions that you have regarding today's services and features. I'll be more than happy to try and answer those as best I can. And if you have anything else that you'd like to contribute, definitely go ahead and do that as well. This is meant to be a sharing type of experience. So by all means, if you're a current Shippo customer and you want to help out with anything that you've had experiences with, definitely let us know. So with that being said, as always, let's go ahead and switch over to my AIM screen. So like I was saying, what is Shippo? So I've just got a web page up here. So if you go to our website at tritechretail.com and scroll down to the partners and associations section, there's going to be a little blurb here about Shippo along with a direct link to their website, which I also have up right here. So you can find all more about their details here and basically what they can bring to your table as far as their benefits and features. But when it comes to setup within AIM, that's going to be, of course, what I will be focusing on today. So once you are signed up for that ActiveE Shippo integration, you will enable that by going to, as always, the ActiveE setup menu here within maintenance. Go ahead and drill down to the Shippo option here in the vendor listing, where you will then be able to check mark the Enable Shippo option. You're going to want to click this Connect Shippo Account button, and that will take you out to the Shippo login page, where it will basically go through a brief series of questions just to make sure everything gets integrated, and then it will come over here and display that your account is connected. I am just using this test token here just to make use of this functionality for the purposes of today's live stream session. And of course, I have this enabled in test mode. Basically, the whole idea of test mode, you can even do this without having signed up for Shippo. It will do everything except actually generate valid shipping labels for you. They'll have like a little watermark over them saying that they're not actually valid labels. Otherwise, you're going to basically enable whichever carriers you intend to use and which ones you might be wanting to have default. On the Shippo side of the equation is where you would actually plug in all of your account credentials with each of these carriers. You can also establish your default values, such as your distance and weight units, the shipping category that you would like shipping transactions to report to as far as your non-inventory, what is going to be your country code. This is going to be US for anyone here in the United States, and there are other ISO two-character country codes wherever applicable. What's going to be your standard currency that you're using. You can see we've got quite the laundry list of options there. And then down here at the bottom, the other defaults, such as the label view or print default. I'm going to choose to view these after purchasing. And then typically this is where you would set up what is going to be the actual label printer that you'll be using to print the labels. Where would you like the invoices to print, and what would you like the invoice to default to as far as the shipping update option. You've got 4 choices to choose from. You can either just add tracking only, which is what I have here. You can also either add to or replace an existing shipping line item on the invoice if there already is one, or you can add a whole new shipping line, and that would be in addition to essentially any existing shipping lines that are already there. So the difference between this one and this one is with this one, if there already is a shipping line on the invoice, it'll add a second one. So just kind of keep that in mind. On the second Setup tab, you can also establish a default sender address. This is basically the return to address, if you want to think of it that way. And then what is going to be the default recipient phone number. And you can also check mark these options here for whether or not you want to have a signature confirmation on by default, or if you'd like to pull in the attention information from your customer and vendor records. And then last but not least, down here at the bottom, you can set up custom package templates for descriptions of these packages, their length, width, and height. And then again, those units will be based off of whatever you have back over here, as well as the weight, and then whether you'd like that to be defaulting to a signature confirmation. By clicking on and then filling in all of these details, it'll then basically let you add in additional ones as desired. So with all of that set up, you'll also want to make sure somewhere on your point of sale screen you have a Shippo button. So I'm just going to hop into the point of sale menu editor here, and I already have one available that I've set up for the purposes of today's session. I'm just going to right click on this button and go and take a look at its functions here. So in the function menu, or of the button, you'll want to make sure to set up a button accordingly as the button type of function key, and then the function itself will be to create a Shippo label. Once there, you can have the caption be whatever you want it to say. You can have the button be whatever length and width and size and coloration and so on and so forth you so desire. I've just got a very simple one here that we will be using for today's broadcast. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and close out and hop into a point of sale session. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a standard guinea pig customer, Mr. Anderson, as always. So let's hypothetically say that I'm just going to go ahead and make some sales, and for whatever reason, I would like to use Shippo to generate a shipping label for their purchases. I'm going to go ahead and click the Shippo button, and this will then bring up the Create Shippo Label window here. And you can see it is labeled in test mode. That is because of that checkbox option, so just keep that in mind. Up here along the top, we've got the package recipient address. You can see it's pulling that in directly from the customer account. If I so desire, I can switch this to any shipping addresses that I have on the customer's account, or I could find alternative customer or vendor addresses and pull those in. I also have the sender address. Where is this coming from? Essentially, like I said, kind of the idea of the return, although you'll notice there is a separate tab for generating a return address. If I uncheck this, I can make sure that I have two separate addresses, one of the sender and one of the return if I so desire. It is filling in the default information that I had pulled in from before, but if I so desire, I can always click the workstation button and have that be pulled in from the workstation record itself. Both of these have validate address buttons, so just so you can kind of see this, by clicking that, it's going to come up and basically check to see if that address is valid or not. Of course, this is just one that I made up on the fly. This one here, though, of course, is our offices here at Tritex. You'll notice when I click that, it is coming back and letting me know that our address is, in fact, valid. From there, we're going to establish package details. So if we so desire, we can fill in the available estimates option. I don't have any estimates to choose from. I can choose my carrier. You can see it is pulling in the default carrier from before. I can use either the custom dimensions that I had previously set up, or I can pull in the standard templates from that particular carrier. So you can kind of see how it's coming up with the different box types depending on the carrier of choice. Once I then select that, I can put in, let's go ahead and do the cardboard envelopes. You can then go ahead and get the rates for that. Of course, I need the return information, so let's go ahead and just check mark that. And I got to put in a package weight. So let's just say that this is 2 pounds. So we can see it's going to go ahead and retrieve those rates for me. So this is coming up to a calculated $7.60. And then if I so desire, if I'm good to go with this, I can click the Purchase Selected Label button, which I will now do. And of course, it's saying that that address is invalid. So let's just go ahead and make this be one that is valid here. So let's do, well, let's just go ahead and do the same address, see if it lets me do that. Cedar Crest Ridge. And let's go ahead and then purchase that. Well, let's get the rate again. I need to get that rate. And we'll go ahead and purchase that label. So there we go. It's going to go out and actually generate that label. This is, as you can see, a website URL. You can see it's also coming up and saying that this is a sample. Do not, in fact, honor this or mail this. But with that in mind, back over here, this is now actually saved into the system. So we're going to go ahead and let that be adding in a shipping line. And we're going to go ahead and save that. So we can now see it's added the $7.60 to the transaction. And then when we go ahead and tender that, they're just going to keep this simple and say it was paid by cash, and then we'll finalize that. So if I had the label printer all set up, I could have also actually printed the label from the screen there. Since that was just something that I threw up to the website, we can kind of see that as is. And of course, this is just going to be my standard invoice, including the shipping line item there. And you can see that it is, in fact, including the tracking information from Shippo right there for me without having to do anything out of the ordinary or anything special. So that's kind of the idea with that. Now, in the, I believe it is in the customer utilities. I'm trying to remember where this is now, but basically you have the ability, if necessary, to go in and work with those labels afterwards. And now for the life of me, I cannot remember where that is, of course. So I am going to cheat and use Control F2 to find where this function is. So in case you're curious, Control F2 allows you to pull up a menu search, and then you can search for any keywords that you'd like. And this is letting me know that the thing I'm looking for is in the Modules and Active E menu. So we can see it's got the Shippo maintenance option here. I could run it right from here, but I'm just going to go ahead for the benefit of the recording and go to Active E, and underneath the other menu, there's our Shippo maintenance that I was thinking of from before, which makes sense because it is an Active E service. So basically from here, if I so desire, I can look up specific labels based on date ranges or accounts. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh the whole thing here. I guess I do need to have at least a date range. And then there's going to be our label. And from here, I can either print that label, view the provider tracking information, refund the label, or create a return label. So this can all be done essentially at any time. And if you want to, you can also just create a brand new label from here without having to go ahead and be doing that in point of sale. So you can see clicking this brings me to the exact same screen. Of course, I no longer have a customer record or anything like that pre-selected. So just kind of keep that in mind. One other kind of thing I want to point out while I've got this window up here is based on the selections that I've got here, I can have different boxes selected or different extras, such as adding the signature confirmation, creating return labels, different kinds of things that I want to have on the labels themselves. And if there are any warnings, I can also see those up here as well. So that's basically the idea behind the Shippo functionality, the Shippo connectivity. I do not have the rates that we have for the connection to Shippo, but definitely if you are interested, give our sales team a call. And I believe that Shippo is very reasonable on their side as well. I don't think we charge too much on our side for the Shippo connection, and I don't think Shippo charges too much either. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this, but I believe that the base Shippo connectivity is actually no charge at all as far as Shippo is concerned. In fact, I'm not, and I might be mistaken on this as well, but I believe that depending on your carrier, you may actually be able to get better rates through this Shippo connectivity than you might otherwise normally not have. So definitely something worth checking out if you do a lot of shipping, and it can certainly make your workflow every day a lot faster when it comes to that connectivity. So yeah, short and sweet, I believe, unless there are any questions that come up in chat, and I do not see any at this point. So let's go ahead and take a few moments like I usually do at the end of every live stream broadcast to discuss the upcoming playlist. And over to the right, if you switch from the chat to the playlist tab, you can see that we do have the dates worked out for the end of the year and the first couple of months into 2023. I do not yet have the individual topics finalized. So definitely, if you have anything that you would like me to check out, go ahead and click on the poll tab at any time up at the top of this window, and that will be a space where you can go ahead and make your submissions for live stream topic ideas. There is one hanging out there talking about sending of estimates with master service tickets, and I'm trying to figure out how best to accommodate that. So I do check this out. I check this out every week to see if there are new ideas for topics. So definitely let me know there. Of course, you can also just email me direct at training@tritechretail.com, or you can call in and make some suggestions through sales or support. I usually would recommend the first two options, either the poll tab or the email, just because that way we've got your exact words for the for the suggestions as they are, and I can always reach back out to you if I need any further elaboration. So with that being said, let's go ahead, and I don't see any other questions coming in. So yeah, let's go ahead and cut this one short. Nice and short and sweet, like I said. So nothing else. We will see you 2 weeks from now when we dive into the second topic for the month of November, just ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. See you later, and take care.